Have you ever felt so stuck in a tough situation that you just stop trying? Like, no matter what you do, nothing seems to change. So, why bother? Right? Well, what if I told you that there's a name for that feeling? It is something we can actually overcome. Today, we are diving into another experiment in psychology that was conducted by Martin Seligman. This experiment revealed the idea of learned helplessness. It's all about why sometimes we give up, even when we do have the power to change things. Stick around, this might just change how you see the challenges. So let's rewind to 1960s. Martin Seligman was studying how animals learn to associate certain actions with outcomes. Basically, how they figure out what works and what doesn't. But during his experiments, he noticed something weird. Some animals just gave up. Even when they could escape a bad situation, they didn't even try. Seligman was like, wait, what's going on here? That's how the concept of learned helplessness was born. Here is how it went down. Seligman's team worked with dogs. First, they put dogs in a harness and gave them mild, unavoidable shocks. The dogs could not escape the electric shocks no matter what they did. Don't worry, no dogs were harmed in the long term. They moved the dogs to a shuttle box, a space where they could easily escape the shocks by jumping over a small barrier. But here is the crazy part. Many of the dogs didn't even try to escape. They just lay down and took it. Why? Because they had learned from the earlier experience that nothing that they did mattered. They felt helpless even when they actually had the power to change the situation. And guess what? This doesn't just happen to dogs. Humans do it too. Think about it. Have you ever stayed at a job you hated because you felt like nothing would change? Or maybe you felt stuck in a toxic relationship thinking this is how it is. That's learned helplessness in action. When we face situations where we feel like we have no control, we start to believe that nothing we'll do will make a difference, even when it could. This concept has been a game changer in understanding mental health, especially depression. It explains why some people feel paralyzed in the face of challenges. But here is the good news. Seligman's work didn't just stop at explaining the problem. It also helped us to find solutions. Learned helplessness led to the development of therapies, which helps people reframe their thoughts and take back control. It also shaped how we approach education and workplaces. For example, creating environments where efforts could lead to results can help prevent the what's the point feeling. So how can we overcome learned helplessness in your own life? First, recognize when you are falling into that I can't do anything mindset. Challenge those thoughts. Ask yourself, is this really true? Or have I just convinced myself that it is? Start small. Take tiny steps to regain control, even if it is just setting one achievable goal. Over time, you build that sense of agency and realize that you are more powerful than you think. Seligman said that how we describe our failures matters. There's an optimistic language and a pessimistic language to describe your failure. The 3 P's of pessimism in describing your failure is permanent, pervasive, and personal language. When you describe your failure in permanent language by using words and phrases like always, I'll fail, never succeed, all the time, every time, forever, etc., you're telling yourself that there's no point in trying. That's the foundation of learned helplessness. The second P is describing your failure in pervasive terms. You failed in one field, say learning music, and you start describing your failure as if it cuts across all the fields. Words and phrases like I fail in everything, I will succeed at nothing, etc. creates that atmosphere of learned helplessness. The last P is personalizing your failure, making it a part of who you are by describing your failure as I am always like this, I was born to fail, there's something wrong with me, and so on. So instead of describing failure in the pessimistic language of permanent, pervasive, and personalizing it, describe your failure in optimistic language. Failure is temporary, failure is local and not global, and failure is can have external reasons also. That is the way to beat learned helplessness. So, learned helplessness is a reminder that our mindset shapes our reality. It's not just about what's happening to us, it's about how we respond to it. So, the next time you feel stuck, remember you have more power than you think. It's all about taking that first step. So, what's the one area in your life where you have felt helpless? And what one small thing can you do to take control? Start today.